Ever notice a faint stumble on a cold start that just vanishes in a minute? You probably blamed the cold. Trust me, it's not the weather. It's the first symptom of a chemical countdown that ends with a $12,000 hole in your wallet. I've sectioned more seized engines than I can count, and the exact pattern of fuel contamination thinning out modern oil is behind at least a third of them. Today, we're counting down the 13 quiet warnings your engine gives you before bad gas and thin oil team up to destroy it. And I'll show you the 3 simple $15 fixes that stop this nightmare cold. Stay for that. The silence that comes at number 1 is a sound you never, ever want to hear. Number 13, the phantom fuel smell. You walk past your car in the garage and catch a sharp whiff of raw gasoline. It's gone a second later, so you dismiss it. Don't. Here's the thing. Ethanol in modern fuel is hygroscopic, a fancy word meaning it pulls moisture right out of the air. That water collects in your tank and fuel lines, where it degrades older rubber and elastomer seals from the inside out. They feel fine on the outside, but inside, they're turning brittle and soft.
The Society of Automotive Engineers confirms this in paper SAE 2021-01-0545, showing certain seals can lose 15% of their strength when soaked in E10 fuel.
That whiff you smell is pressurized fuel vapor seeping past a dying seal. A new seal costs $5, but finding the leak is $100 in diagnostic time. Ignore it, and that seep becomes a drip under 300 psi of pressure. 32, a $1,200 fuel rail replacement if it doesn't start a fire first. If a tiny leak feels harmless, wait until you see how that same fuel starts eating your engine. Smelled that phantom gas? Tell me the year of your car below. Number 12, the slow MPG bleed. Your fuel economy used to be a rock-solid 30 miles per gallon. Now it's 28. 6 months later, it's 27. It's so gradual you blame traffic. Here's the thing. As that same unstable fuel breaks down, it forms a sticky varnish, almost like a microscopic layer of maple syrup. This varnish coats the tips of your fuel injectors, ruining the fine cone-shaped mist they're designed to spray. Instead, you get clumsy little streams. Your engine control unit sees unburnt oxygen in the exhaust and, thinking the engine is starving, commands more fuel. It can't fix a bad spray pattern. An internal study by Chevron using their Techron additive showed
a 5.1% drop in fuel economy after just 10,000 miles on low detergent gas.
A bottle of quality injector cleaner is $15. Ignore it, and you're looking at a $300 professional cleaning. Let it go too long, and it's an $800 set of new injectors, plus labor. 3 weeks later, that poor spray pattern starts making noise you can actually hear. Hit like if you track your MPG on every single tank. Number 11, the extended crank time. You turn the key, and the engine just spins for an extra second or two before it finally catches. It always starts, but that hesitation is new. You can feel the whole car shudder slightly when it finally fires. Here's the thing. That delay is your fuel pump fighting to build pressure against those gummed-up injectors. It's like trying to blow through a clogged straw. That extra strain overheats the pump's tiny electric motor.
A 2022 Ford dealership bulletin for their EcoBoost engines, TSB 222153, directly warns technicians that crank times over 3 seconds are an early sign of high-pressure fuel pump failure, a direct result of fuel contamination.
A new fuel filter is a $40 fix. Ignore the warning and you'll burn out the low-pressure pump for $900. Wait for the high-pressure pump to go, and that's a $1,600 job, mostly buried in labor. Meanwhile, in high-altitude cities like Denver, where fuel atomizes differently, This symptom can trick mechanics into chasing ignition problems for weeks. Ever timed your crank? Drop the seconds below. Number 10. The cold start stumble. There it is. The symptom from the intro. For the first 30 seconds after a cold start, the engine feels rough, like it's limping on one leg. Then, magically, it smooths out. Here's the thing. That injector varnish prevents proper fuel atomization. Instead of a fine vapor, you're getting a wet, lazy stream. Cold metal in the cylinder causes that liquid fuel to puddle instead of flash vaporize, leading to a temporary misfire. You can literally smell it, a rich, unburnt gas odor from the exhaust. I trust it when you can smell it. Once the engine block warms up, the heat helps vaporize the fuel, and the symptom vanishes. But that raw, liquid gasoline is washing the protective film of oil right off your cylinder walls. This is the gateway. Ignoring it costs nothing today. 6 months from now, it's a $500 compression test to find the damage. Left alone, it's the start of a $10,000 engine failure. Before you turn the key tomorrow, listen. That stumble marks the end of the annoying problems and the beginning of the expensive ones. Felt it? Tell me how many seconds it lasts. Number 9. The idle fluctuation. You're at a stoplight, and the tachometer needle is breathing, bouncing just slightly, maybe 100 RPM, up and down. You can feel a subtle, deep vibration through the steering wheel, like a distant washing machine. Here's the thing. Your car's computer is in an unwinnable fight. It's desperately trying to hold a steady idle. But the clogged injectors deliver fuel inconsistently. The ECU adds fuel. The oxygen sensor sees it's too rich. The ECU pulls fuel back. The O2 sensor says too lean. This endless loop creates the hunting idle.
Bosch, who makes most of these systems, notes in their diagnostic guides that fuel trim corrections exceeding 10% indicate a mechanical fault.
The ECU can no longer mask. A professional injector cleaning is $150. Ignore it, and you'll chase the problem. With a $400 mass airflow sensor. The real damage, though, is the uneven combustion causing harmonic vibrations that are slowly killing your motor mounts. A $1,000 repair. If a shaky needle feels harmless, remember that inconsistent force is hammering your engine's bearings. Hit subscribe so you never miss these hidden warnings. Number 8. The startup rattle. For just a second or two on a cold start, you hear a sharp metallic rattle from the front of the engine, like a bicycle chain dragging on pavement. Then, silence. This is not normal. Here's the thing. All that unburnt fuel washing past your piston rings is now in your oil pan, diluting your engine oil. Modern 0W20 oil is already incredibly thin. When diluted with gasoline, its film strength collapses. Your timing chain tensioner is hydraulic. It relies on clean, pressurized oil to keep the chain tight. On startup, that thinned, watery oil can't build pressure fast enough, letting the chain slap against its plastic guides.
A technical service bulletin from Hyundai Kia, TSB 20EM004H, directly links fuel-diluted oil to premature timing chain wear.
An $80 oil change is the fix. Ignore the rattle, and you'll destroy the guides, turning it into a $2,500 timing job. Let that chain jump a tooth, and you've just bought a new $7,000 engine. 3 weeks later, that 1-second rattle becomes a 5-second grind, and the damage is already done. Heard that chain slap? Record it and show your mechanic. Number 7. The flickering oil light. You brake for a stop sign, the car's nose dips, and for a split second, the red oil can icon flickers on the dash. It vanishes the moment you touch the gas. This is a 5-alarm fire. for your engine. Here's the thing. Your oil is now so severely diluted with fuel that at hot idle, its pressure is dropping below the minimum safety threshold, often as low as 7 psi. The light is your engine's brain screaming that the protective oil film
between your bearings is gone. Data from Blackstone Laboratories, a leading oil analysis firm, flags fuel dilution over 5% as a critical failure.
I've seen owner reports showing 10% fuel content, with engines running on oil that has the protective viscosity of water. An emergency $80 oil change might save it. A $100 oil pressure test will confirm the damage. But ignoring that flicker for even a week guarantees a $6,000 bottom-end rebuild. Meanwhile, in cold climates where short trips are common, this can happen in just 3,000 miles, turning a winter commute into an engine's death sentence. If you've seen that light, get an oil analysis now. Number 6. The P0171 code. Your check engine light clicks on. The code reader says P0171, system too lean. You might be tempted to just clear it, or maybe a mechanic replaces an oxygen sensor. Here's the thing. The code isn't the problem. It's the final desperate cry for help. The engine is running lean because the injectors are now so clogged with varnish that even when the ECU holds them wide open, they physically can't deliver enough fuel.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's own studies on fuel deposits have documented how this exact lean condition dramatically increases combustion temperatures.
You can't feel it, but inside, your exhaust valves are starting to glow red. Clearing the code costs nothing. A new O2 sensor is $250. When that glowing hot valve finally burns a chunk out of its edge, you're looking at a $3,000 cylinder head job. The car is now worth less than the repair. Before you turn the key tomorrow, understand that light is your last cheap warning. The next signs are catastrophic. Drop a comment if P0171 has ever haunted your dashboard. Number 5. The metallic sheen. You pull your dipstick for a routine check. You wipe it, dip it again, and hold it in the sunlight. You see it. The oil has a glittery, shimmering quality, like metallic paint. You can feel a faint grittiness between your fingers. Here's the thing. You are looking at the ground-up remains of your engine's main and rod bearings, suspended in the oil. That fuel-thinned oil failed completely. And now, critical parts are grinding themselves into dust.
Lab analysis from a firm like Oil Analyzers Inc. will confirm it. Lead from bearings over 15 parts per million is an alert.
I've seen reports with 200 ppm. At that point, the oil is more metal than additive. A $30 oil analysis is your only proof. Continuing to drive for even one more trip ensures catastrophic failure. You're no longer preventing a problem. You're deciding between a $6,000 rebuild or a $12,000 new engine. If that glitter bomb seems bad, know that the sound it causes is what totals the car. Seen that shimmer? It's time to park it and call a tow truck. Number 4. The persistent engine knock. That sharp startup rattle is no longer temporary. It's now a constant, deeper knock that gets faster as you accelerate. It sounds like a hammer trapped inside your engine. The damage is done. Here's the thing. Either the timing chain has permanently stretched and is now chewing through its aluminum cover, or A, connecting rod bearing has been pounded into oblivion, creating a massive gap. That knocking sound is the piston hammering the crankshaft with every single rotation. According to internal training documents from the Jasper Engines remanufacturing network, once audible rod knock
is confirmed, over 90% of engine cores they receive are completely unrebuildable. There is no cheap fix.
There is no additive that will help. The cost is now a non-negotiable $8,000 used engine or a $12,000 remanufactured one. Your car's trade-in value just hit zero. 3 weeks ago, this was a rattle. Today, it's a time bomb. The next sound you hear will be the last. Number 3. The misfire under load. You try to merge onto the highway. You press the gas, and the engine starts bucking and shaking so violently it feels like the wheels are about to fall off. The check engine light isn't just on, it's flashing, a universal signal for a catalyst-damaging misfire. Here's the thing. A component has just failed catastrophically. That stretched timing chain has finally jumped a tooth, throwing your engine's mechanical timing into chaos. Or worse, a spun bearing has seized, and the connecting rod is starting to bend. Shop logs are filled with these stories. A broken timing guide gets ingested by the oil pump, starving the engine. The engine is literally tearing itself apart, and every buck you feel is another metal part breaking. The only cost now is the $200 tow truck. The repair is a $14,000 engine replacement, which is more than the car is worth. Meanwhile, across town, a driver who used the right fuel and oil is accelerating smoothly, completely unaware of the disaster they avoided. Number 2. The limp mode activation. You're driving, and suddenly, all power is gone. The engine won't rev past 2,000 RPM. The dashboard lights up like a Christmas tree, with every warning light imaginable. This is limp mode. Here's the thing. Your car's computer has detected a failure so severe it is actively shutting the engine down to prevent a catastrophic seizure at 70 miles per hour.
It knows. The crankshaft and camshaft position sensors are no longer in sync, or the oil pressure has dropped to zero. According to manufacturer programming logic, this is a non-recoverable error. It's the engine's final act of self-preservation.
A tow truck is $200, but it's not going to a repair shop. It's going to an auction yard, where it will be sold for parts. You are now a pedestrian. Before we get to number 1, remember this entire cascade started with a faint smell you chose to ignore. Stay for the fixes right after this. They are your only way out. Number 1. The seizure. You turn the key. You don't hear cranking. You hear a single, solid thud. The lights on the dash dim. You try again. Thud. You can feel the jolt through the floor. That's it. Here's the thing. The engine is mechanically seized. A connecting rod has snapped and punched a hole in the engine block, or a bearing has welded itself to the crankshaft. The starter motor is slamming against a locked-up wall of metal. It's over. I saw this personally on a 2019 Subaru Outback. With just 60,000 miles. The owner heard the rattle, then the knock. The repair bill wasn't a repair. It was a $12,000 invoice for a remanufactured long block, plus another $2,000 in labor.
The root cause? A lab report showing 8% fuel dilution in the 0W20 oil.
That simple, preventable issue totaled their car. This entire $12,000 disaster is preventable. Here are the 3 simple steps that break the chain reaction. First, use top-tier certified gasoline exclusively. It's not marketing hype. AAA conducted an independent study and found
that top-tier gas left 19 times fewer intake valve deposits than non-certified fuel. It prevents that first layer,
a varnish. If your car ever sits for more than a month, spend $15 on a bottle of fuel stabilizer. It stops the breakdown before it starts. Second, use the right oil and change it early. That means the exact viscosity your manufacturer recommends, but make sure it has
the latest API SP certification on the bottle. The SP rating was specifically created to combat the timing chain wear
caused by fuel dilution in modern engines. And if you take a lot of short trips under 5 miles, cut your oil change interval in half. An extra $80 oil change is cheap insurance against a $2,500 timing job. Third, and this is the most important, spend $30 on a used oil analysis kit from a lab like Blackstone or Wix. This is your secret weapon. It's like a blood test for your engine. It will show you the exact percentage of fuel in your oil.
It will show you if the oil's viscosity has sheared down. It will spot rising levels of copper, lead, and aluminum.
Long before you can see glitter on a dipstick or hear a deadly knock, it turns guessing into knowing. Now that you know how fuel dilution silently murders an engine, the next critical step is understanding the system that's supposed to prevent it. Watch our deep dive on PCV systems and catch cans to stop this problem right at the source.